Well, welcome to another episode of the Grazing Sheep Podcast. I'm your host, Big Tom Perkins, along with Dr. Cameron Meyerly. And guess what, Cam? Today is our 100th episode.
I
Yay!
know we need some music playing in the background with
How's that?
some that's perfect with some
Great.
fireworks going off. It is kind of funny. It's one of those things that 100 episodes seems like it was so far away when when we started, and I don't know that we were really looking to reach a goal of any kind. But when we were talking a couple weeks ago, and it's like, oh, episode 100's coming up, it's like, what? What are you talking
Yeah,
about? It seems like yesterday when we started, so it's been fun.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't think we even thought about 100 episodes. I think our first goal was we were hoping, we figured in the first year we'd be lucky if we had 25,000 plays.
Yeah, and I think your number was quite a bit more. It was a loftier goal than what I had because I was like, oh, maybe a couple hundred people will will hop on and listen, and like total.
Yeah.
And again, we've talked about that on all we were calling and talking for an hour anyway, so
Yeah.
we might as well just record it
Yep.
because it was good conversation in the beginning. So yeah, there was apparently interest in what we were talking about on the phone. So
Well, that was my thing was we had all these deep discussions about sheep, and I was like, man, this would make a good podcast because there's tons of information that I didn't know, and so all these questions that I had, and then there was all these observations that I had, and I wasn't sure if anybody else was seeing these or not, or was I just nuts? And that's when we got to thinking about. I was like, well, if we record these, then maybe other people would have these same questions.
yeah, and I do think it's kind of fun. Like this is our first episode in 2025, and so to kick it off with episode number 100
Yep.
is pretty exciting. Um, and as always, happy to have had a lot of people come on and talk, and um, always looking for more questions. And I feel like based on the questions we're getting, what I enjoy is some of our conversation has sparked interest with some other producers. And
Yeah.
so these other producers are like, oh, okay, I like that. Now apply it to this operation and what applies over here, and then what can we do in addition to what's already being done.
Mm.
And that's really exciting. I also had a question the other day on how do you like do you get burnout was the question. It's like you have to stop and think about it. Like some of the topics are challenging to kind of work through, or trying to figure out, oh, what are people gonna want to listen to? And you kind of take a step back and it's like, no, I don't get burnout because all I'm doing is hopping on here and talking with a friend for for 40 minutes. And
Yeah.
then what most of you don't see is we'll usually call each other afterwards and talk for another hour.
Yeah.
So that's the part of it um, that that's really fun. If you're doing it with someone you really enjoy and have a lot of appreciation for, then yeah, it's going to be easy. And that the other question came of, how do you get an episode out every week? Which I take no credit for. It's because Tom is very dedicated, and barring natural disaster of significant magnitude on a weekend into Tuesday morning, that podcast is going to be there Tuesday morning at 7. Is that when it
It's
dropped? Yeah.
7. Yeah.
Yep. He is committed to it, and uh, I think it sounds great, and is dedicated to getting that out and providing that on a weekly basis. So he deserves all the credit on that side of things, and I certainly appreciate it, and I think everybody else that listens appreciates it too. So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
Some of the recordings are a bit challenging. I know there was one Oh, it's been quite a while ago. You had a major cough,
Oh yeah. Yep. Major cough.
really bad cold, and you were coughing like every other word.
Tom
And
healed me.
I healed him. You can't even tell in that episode that he was coughing the whole
Yeah.
time.
I
Did
was
a
dying. I remember that.
bunch of creative editing to get that all pieced together.
Yet another bad one. I know Andrew was in a cinder block room,
Oh Lord.
and that was Tom, Tom still brings that one up. But
It's
as we were reminiscing on like, oh, we'll talk about just getting to episode 100, and I'm starting to go through and think about like, oh, who all did we have come on and talk? And it's there's some fun, a lot of fun guests on there, and I hate to list them all off because I'm sure I'll forget somebody. But I was thinking the other day, like Rusty Bridget
yeah,
from who used to be the executive director for NSIP, um, who's moved on to a better job. I'm hoping he's enjoying what he's doing over at Iowa State. But went back and listened to those episodes because it's something fun to hear.
yeah,
Kind of miss him, given some of those afternoon lunch call discussions. It's like, oh, let's hear what Rusty's got to say on this. But between that, Dr. Bowdridge, we had Adam Coleman on a couple weeks ago. Of course, Andrew has been on
yeah.
here a bunch, and we love to
Oh yeah.
have him come on and chime in, trying to go through like some of my favorite episodes. And there's a couple in there, of course, that have Andrew on there. Like our line breeding discussion
Yeah.
was fun, and it's stuff that, again, these are phone conversations that have happened for over the course of years, and it's like, hey, let's touch back on this and talk about it. But um yeah, do you have some statistics on listenership?
I do. Some of the statistics are we've been played in 62 countries.
It's pretty fun.
I didn't
And
even know there was 62 countries.
oh, there you go. Nice, Tom. Great, great.
Now I'm
Yeah, and that's
curious to know how many countries are there and which ones have we not gotten yet?
total. Yeah,
What's the
there's
problem?
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of countries. Um, the biggest thing, like, I haven't been out of the country since I was like 8. And that was to Canada, and you didn't even need a passport then. So, it is kind of fun. Curious what their opinions are of of the episodes they're listening to, but that's a fun stat to throw out there.
Yeah, 62 countries. That's just insane. I
Does
don't
it list the countries?
Yeah, it does. It
So
does.
how many of those
Oh
had
geez.
you heard of before?
Of the countries? I think I've heard of
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think there's any. I didn't know that was a country. I don't
Okay.
I tend to just kind of count them and not really.
Get into the details of,
Yeah.
oh,
See,
Lithuania. I that may not even be a country, but
well, we get listened to in Ukraine.
really.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm
That's a fun one.
I'm thinking they've got all kind of problems over there. But they have time. They all take time to stop and listen to the Crazy Sheep podcast.
Yeah, it's probably conflict relief
It could be. It's
instead of comedic relief.
probably only one person, and
Yeah, probably.
probably an older person, and saying, "How do I get this off my phone?"
Right. Accidentally hit a subscribe button
They
and
just keep clicking it, and it just keeps
they're
going.
stuck with it.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Right.
It's more than likely what it would be. But the top three are the USA, which I would
Shocker.
expect. Number two is Canada,
Well, shocker again.
our neighbors to the north there, and then Australia. I've been listening to it too. That's number three.
There you go. Now they won't because they're
Oh, they won't
offended.
because of the lousy accent.
The no, that makes sense. A lot of sheep in Australia. Um, and Canada's close. So, but do you have number four on there?
No, I didn't look at number
Okay. I
Well,
was just curious.
I could probably find it.
I mean,
Uh,
those
um,
kind of track from a geographical standpoint. Makes sense. I didn't know if the other one would be like Mexico, again, from a geographical standpoint.
no, but I know
But
it's in the States, New Mexico, United Kingdom.
okay, again,
Or
more sheep, pretty
yeah,
heavy sheep culture there.
we're talking
But
about Mexico.
yeah.
So
Oh, nice.
the old
That's fun.
UK, which growing up I thought that was uck.
They're right.
What's this country called?
Oh,
So, and then as far as states, number one's Ohio. And they've been number
okay.
one for like a year. So you Ohioans, keep it up. You're doing good work. Texas is number two. That kind of surprised me. Missouri,
Yeah,
Missouri's number three,
really. Okay.
and Pennsylvania was number four. PA,
Okay.
you guys are sliding. I think like a year ago, I think Pennsylvania was number two,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
then
that again.
New York was number four.
Okay. Nice.
And
Yeah,
all
and
the way
that's
through down to the end, the state that listens to us the least is New Mexico.
I believe it. If you look at the sheep growth metrics or loss metrics, New Mexico, I think, is leading the way in the West with decrease of sheep production, loss of total numbers of sheep. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to go back and look at the map, but that's a fun thing. Obviously, again, the geographical component to it, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
From a sheep production standpoint, Texas leading the way with sheep production makes sense. Got a lot of sheep down in Texas, a lot of interest in Texas for sheep content. So very cool. Yeah, those are fun. And then what's the total listens, total plays on the
We're just a little over 135,000.
yeah, that is crazy to me. It's always fun talking with friends that aren't from an ag background or specifically a sheep background, and you throw that number out because, of course, I don't talk about it, but my wife's like, "Oh yeah, Cameron has to talk on a podcast every week," and and they're like, "Oh, you have a podcast?" It's like, yeah, you're not going to want to listen to it, but you tell them, and this happened over Christmas, like, oh yeah, we've got like 125,000 listens, and they're like dumbfounded by it, which it's
Oh yeah.
still there's still a little bit of sticker shock. I mean, to myself, um, to me, like it is crazy to think that many people have taken the time to listen, and I hope they've pulled something from it, or if nothing else, it's just sound sound into their ear and passes the road time by a little more quickly. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I get some emails, not so much with questions, but a lot of times they're just people thanking us for doing what we do. And a lot of times it is somebody who's fairly new to sheep, and they always say that they're grateful because they think we answer a lot of questions for them.
good. Well, and that's always encouraging
And
to hear. I don't,
that was kind of the name of the game. That's what we were hoping to
yeah,
do.
and I don't think we've brought anything to the table that's earth shattering in terms of. Um, I guess it depends what challenges you're faced with. Maybe it was earth shattering, but it's not stuff that we might have some strong opinions, but my hope is nothing that is so offensive that you'd say, "Oh, I can't run sheep like that." I mean, the worst it's going to get is Tom scolding you for not moving sheep every day in your grazing rotations.
That's right.
But that's okay. If you can deal with that, you can deal with just about anything else that we're going to talk about, and that's I think a fun thing. But in terms of episodes, what's been the most popular?
Oh, I gotta go. I have to go over here and look at this. Oh, 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 oh. I went to the wrong spot. So the most popular episode is our very first one. Let's talk about lambing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And number two is our third episode, Tom's Journey into Raising Sheep, which baffles
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that is so fun.
which baffles
That
me
is so fun.
why people listen to that. I honestly think people are just amazed that I've managed to stay alive this long.
There you go. There you go.
I
Well,
really,
and it is a fun story, and we probably could come back to, what Tom did before raising sheep and do a whole episode on that, on just the, the touring the countryside with Tom in a band discussion, which I think might be more fascinating than talking sheep production. Um,
it was fun, but it has nothing to do with sheep.
right, right, right. We've talked about doing something like that. I've talked about doing a spin-off on, because a couple episodes it's crept in on some food connoisseur type discussion on, we were at EAPK and
Yeah.
Tom's pigs in a blanket, on just talking, having an episode on what we like to eat, doing an episode of food reviews. It's like, we'll probably steer clear on that. We've touched briefly on the sheep nutrition side of things, and let alone getting into the human nutrition side of things could be dangerous. But so those are one and two. So episode
One,
one
two.
and three are listens number one and two.
Yes. So episode 44, Winter Grazing, was number three.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
and I always kind of feel bad about that one because we didn't really spend that much time actually talking about winter.
I'm going crazy. Nice.
We started out and then we kind of veered off, and I don't remember. It's been a while since I listened to it. I don't remember where we went from there. And episode number four was How We Graze.
Okay. Okay.
And I think we did spend a lot of time, talking about grazing in that one. So I don't feel so bad about that.
Right.
That was, that was episode number 12. And then number five was episode seven, How Do You Market Your Lambs?
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
that's always a big one. We talked about that before we started recording this morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's something that, what's fun about, probably one of my favorite topics to
Hmm.
talk about marketing. Um, because there's so much variation that it's really hard to give bad advice. I think I think so you feel a little safe in that discussion, and I'd say we've probably scratched the surface on a lot of it. Because there are so many avenues to pursue from a diversity of cash flow, and that's like exciting. Takes a lot of time to jump into some of those others, but plenty of models that exist, and it's something that is so important to your operation in generating revenue, so that you can continue to do this, that you're probably going to hear it again and again and again, sprinkled in, um, if you continue to listen.
Absolutely. And then it's funny because you just brought this up, but we were talking about line breeding with Dr. Andrew Weaver, and
Yeah,
that was episode 66, and it is sixth,
great,
666. And
great.
I don't know about all
Nope,
that.
we're done for.
That's mostly because of Dr. Andrew Weaver.
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
And if we just say that in jest, because if you know Andrew, he's one of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Now, in our least listened to episode, it was an episode that I was a little leery of doing in the first place, but it was our very first, um, I guess, recap of our EAPK symposium.
Yeah, I could see that. If you don't have an interest in that, you just skip right over. That's been I enjoy doing those recaps, because you go to these events and you hear stuff and it's like, oh man, I want to share this with with other people. If you were there, however, you say, "Oh, I already know what happened." Or if you didn't go, you said, "Well, if I wanted to hear what happened, I would have gone in in the first place."
Could be. Yeah.
But
And that was supposed to be a bonus episode that we were just going to stick in there. And then something happened and we got behind and
threw it in.
we had to use it as an episode.
Nice.
But I also feel pretty good about the fact that we've now done 100 episodes. We didn't repeat any of them. We didn't go back and cut some in bits and pieces and make another episode.
Yeah, Tom has some pretty strong convictions on some of this stuff, as you may, if you've ever talked to him in person, you may find out, which again, I very much appreciate because it keeps us on track. But it's a it's something when it comes to original content and then sound quality, which I'm guilty of not always having the best of. Um, those are the two his non-negotiables on doing something like this. Is if you're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And right is subjective to what our opinions are. But so far, we I've I've agreed with all of his demands. So
Our biggest nemesis is our both of our internet
yeah,
speed. That's what it
that's a
is.
challenge. I think
End up
probably
with
the
little
worst.
clicks and glitches, and I try to work those as best I can, and they're definitely there, and you can hear them now and again.
Yeah, and the worst one might have been our last episode when I was in the car uh, at the sale barn,
Yeah.
and it was had perfect service, wasn't moving, and it's like, oh man, this is the lag on this is making it hard. I've got to predict when Tom's going to be done talking, so I I can put my 2 cents in here and there, and I think vice versa. So it comes with its challenges when we're not right next door to each other, can't hop into a studio and record it
Yeah.
sitting in chairs across the room from each other, but it's allowed us a lot of flexibility in getting some other people on. One of those people being Dr. Bowdridge, which I was a little surprised that one wasn't in the top 10 because I probably get more comments.
I think it is in the top 10.
Oh, is it like 10?
It is number, see, line breeding was 6, so it must be number 7.
Oh, so, okay. Okay. For some reason, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, that was episode 30.
Yeah.
So it was number 7.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Mhm.
I was surprised again, jumping ahead, but that's one that when people ask, like, "Oh, what episode should I start on?" I usually tell them, "Well, episode one's a good good place to start." But if you just want to try out something and want to gather some info, maybe you don't want to listen long term, but an episode that just has a lot of value, in my opinion, how does parasite resistance work? And it gets pretty high level, pretty fast. Um, but to understand, a concept that is oftentimes seems like this kind of dark looming cloud of confusion, and to really dive in and understand that it's not a made up parasite resistance is not a made up thing
Mhm.
that people just say, oh yeah, it's the immune system, and then walk away, which for most of us that's enough to hear and say, all right, perfect. Um, let's select for it. To hear kind of the nuts and bolts of it, I think is I enjoy listening to that. Um, and I know I had had a number of conversations with people that have said, okay, it's very complicated, but I at least like hearing the complicated aspects of it, even if I don't fully understand it. I like hearing what's behind the curtain than just going in and saying, "Yep, we have it. We're going to select for it," and saying, "Okay, hopefully it's something real behind the curtain." But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's with Dr. Bowdridge. That might not be
it
then.
is,
Is
it
it?
is. Yep. Yeah, episode 30 is with Dr. Bowdridge, and then 31, uh, are parasite resistant sheep healthier sheep?
Okay.
Dot, dot, dot. Yes.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna.
that's something, they've gotten a lot of miles out of the antibody stuff that has been done at WVU, both at at local breed specific meetings, and I think he's giving another talk at ASI this year, our National Sheep Convention, just on selecting for sheep. Is this a selectable metric in current research? So yeah, it's kind of fun to go back and sample some of those. So you said that was number seven. So we're on to number eight.
And number eight, I'm gonna get lost here. Number eight was rations for winter feeding.
Okay,
And I kind of felt like that was misleading too. Because
probably,
it wasn't, it,
probably.
it was more about grazing in the winter months than it was about
Yeah,
than it was about actual rations. I think we talked about some hay and some other things in that as well. So, but these are, we live in a gotcha world. So,
you're right. Right. Great, great. And at least with this, we only got you for 35 minutes. So
yeah, that's true. And
count your blessings.
doesn't cost you anything. So,
Yep.
but- so, and then I don't remember what number we're on. And
Nine.
and then after that was that we're on nine now. So that
Yep.
was the episode 11 where it says grazing dot 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 finally.
Right. Right. Only took us 10 episodes to get into the meat and potatoes of what we wanted to talk about, but
Well, we did start in the wintertime, so
that is true. It makes it somewhat difficult to look outside at white snow and say,
yeah, so
let's
that
talk
would have been
grass.
like 9 weeks after we started. So that was probably in April, coming up
Yeah.
on. So I think I was excited to get out grazing again. The winter break was over.
Yes. And I think shortly after that, talked about grass tetany. So not only
Yeah.
is it is it a positive, it comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure where that's at on the list. And then I guess we'd be up to number 10.
Yep.
That was how do you process new lambs? Your new lambs, I guess.
Okay.
That was episode 2.
Okay. Nice.
That's just where we talked about, you know, snip and dip and
Strip, clip. No, snip. Snip is the clip. Yep.
whatever it is, and then dip.
Snip, dip, strip, sip. That's what it is. Strip the teat, sip, as in the lamb,
Mhm.
sipping colostrum.
And then dip the navel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
So
new to me. I
snip.
don't think that's in that episode at all. I think you just made
Yeah.
it up.
It's in there. I know it's in there. And as we're talking about this, I'm wondering, all of these things are supposed to be so you can remember it more easily. And as we fumble our words on what they are, I'm wondering if there isn't an easier way to remember it because there has to be. But
I think it should be pull, drool.
yeah, right. Pick the other ones.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the other one
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I
Do,
thought for sure
do
I'd come
you
up with that
have
third one.
do you have any favorites that you've really enjoyed either talking with people or going back and listening?
Probably one of the episodes we did with Andrew Weaver, and the reason it was my favorite episode was only because, and I think it might have been the first one we did with him, was that I he seemed really nervous, and so I just said to him, just so you know, the very first question is going to be, is it true, Dr. Weaver, that you worked your way through college as a pole dancer? And he kind of stopped and had this deer in the headlight look. And then he got this big smile on his face and he says, yes, and not many people know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. And you wished it would have been recorded
Yeah, because it
there.
was really funny. But and then we were halfway through that episode and we hear this ding, and then he stops and he says, I'll be right back. And we're just both sitting there like, where did he go? And then he comes back and he says, I have pies in the oven. And I had to check.
That's right. That's right.
And I
Yeah.
thought, I'm like, are you kidding me? Right in the middle of this, you're baking pies?
Yeah. Yeah. For those that don't know, Andrew is an avid baker.
Yeah, apparently.
Avid baker. Yep. Very good products that are
So of
coming
course
out of the
I
Weaver
had to
kitchen.
I had to edit all that out, but
Yes, I remember that feels like an eternity ago.
I
But
know.
yeah, that's those have been fun. I will say and this one wasn't that long ago that um the insert name here, I've had more comments from people just like, oh man, that was fantastic when Tom did that. And then they love the story even more when I mention that, oh yeah, well, guess what? He didn't tell me he was doing it. And so I'm just sitting there like, what is going on? And it sounded like a legitimate, like commercial reading that you'd
Oh
hear
yeah,
on
we
the
were fishing
reading.
for sponsors.
Yeah, that was still fishing. Not not many, couple of bites. But
Nothing
the
to forget.
yeah, that one was one of my favorites because it was really enjoyed that one. And it was a surprise to me. So it's like, oh man, this is good. This is
I don't,
fun.
I don't even remember what
But
episode that was.
yeah, that had guess you have to listen to
I've
all of
listened to
them and
all of them until you
let us
find.
know. But right, right. The uh other one I really enjoyed diving into reproduction with Dr. Poole from NC State.
Yeah.
Those were really for me, that was really enjoyable. And then we start talking ram libido and um everything that's going on with that reproductive system that we just take for granted. We put the ram out, we get lambs 5 months later. We say, "Oh man, good thing this works as easily as it does," until it doesn't, and then all of a sudden we've got to go and troubleshoot everything. But those have been probably the best part. Yeah, it's fun to talk with Tom, but when we get to bring somebody else into the conversation, it's been really enjoyable.
Yep.
But
Yeah, we've enjoyed all of our guests. We hope to have more on for sure, and not a moron, but just more guests on as well.
nice.
'Cause
Nice. We've already got two of those,
I
so
gotta
we're
say I'm the moron in this episode here, but we want to thank you all for listening to us for as long as you have and help us to celebrate our 100th episode. I know I've got confetti here on the floor. I got to clean up now. We'll see how that goes through the vacuum. Or I could just let it just kind of grind in like I do with everything else. And
yeah. I think you're mistaking hay chaff
yeah,
for confetti there, Tom.
yeah,
But
I couldn't afford actual confetti, so I just left off.
well, honestly, probably
Hey,
couldn't afford
yeah,
the hay chaff this year.
yeah.
So
It is biodegradable, so it's
yeah,
good for the environment.
there you go. There you go. Yeah,
We're all,
it's certainly been fun, and we'll second the appreciation that Tom just mentioned for those that have listened, and whether it's been recent or long term from the beginning. Um, yeah, that's it's been enjoyable, and yeah, we're gonna keep going, and always if you have questions, send them in. We're gonna try to get answers out in a timely fashion, and probably do some more of these Q&A episodes as we get questions that roll in, because turns out as we get a question that's pretty deep, Tom and I usually take about an episode to answer the thing. So at least that's what happened the last time.
yeah,
um, on this is question was presented. It's like, well, we'll take the remaining 20 minutes to hash this out.
yeah,
So keep sending those. And I don't know if we've mentioned this previously, but I know Tom has signed at least one autograph.
yeah. For the Grazing Sheep podcast, yeah, one
Yep.
autograph for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot all the fame and fortune for the podcast, but
There was a lot
the
of autographs in a prior life.
like
Yeah.
right, right. But yeah, it was kind of fun. I was at an event and someone came up and opened the book in front of me and was like, "Here, sign here." I'm like, "What am I signing for?" Well, that's Tom's, autograph above you. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness." And that was Doug Brooks over in
Gary
uh,
Brooks.
Gary Brooks. Oh, I just talked with Doug Brooks the other day. Geesh. Well, now he's not going to listen, but Gary Brooks. Yeah, Gary Brooks over in Maryland.
Yeah,
Um, he was at one of our grazing workshops, and um, yeah, it was just fun. He's a fun guy that's had some questions coming in here lately, and um, yeah, like Tom said, it's always fun to meet people in real life that
Oh yeah.
uh, have have enjoyed it and are willing and brave enough to come over and chat with us.
Yeah, I'm going over to the Ohio Grazing Conference. It's the last Thursday and Friday of January, I think. And yeah, it's the last Thursday and Friday of January. And I'm actually running sound over there for them, not speaking,
Nice.
trying to make sure everybody else sounds good. So if you're there, come look me up. And then I'm going to be speaking at the Northern Indiana Grazing Conference. And that is, I think, January 31st and February 1st. And so I'll actually be speaking on February 1st. And so that'll be
What are
fun.
you speaking on?
So they're going to have a platform for me to stand on.
No. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
I'm just going to do a kind of a farm review, and then we're going to talk about how we do our breeding, how we do our out of season breeding. I guess part is part of it. So that's the idea at this point. So got to get working on that presentation, get that put together. So we thank you for listening again and for celebrating our 100th episode with us. And if you got any questions or comments, you can reach out to me at bigtomperkins@gmail.com. There is a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. You can go check those out as well. And so we'll talk to you next week on episode 101 there, Cam.
Sounds good, Tom. Looking forward to it.
All right. Bye.